It has been absolutely wild for the past at least 12 hours in which we saw Donald Trump finally say something negative about Putin and even called him crazy, in which the Kremlin does not like that whatsoever, but it comes during the exact moment in which Russia had sent a record number of drones into Ukraine. The grand question is Donald Trump finally waking up to what Vladimir Putin is doing, or is he just reacting and ain't gonna do anything about it? And that is what the big topic is today, where last night at 8:46 p.m., Donald Trump had taken to Truth Social, and in it he went after Putin and then Zelensky for some strange reason, and a lot of people said the first part is right, the second part I think he was just lashing out because he's just angry in general. Let's go over what Donald Trump says, and I'll stop in between to kind of give you a little context and a little commentary. He says, I always had a good relationship with Vladimir Putin of Russia, but something has happened to him. He has gone absolutely crazy. Now, we do know that Trump has had a really big relationship with Putin, and when Putin says something to Trump, Trump kind of goes, okay, yes, well, you're my friend. I believe you. And well, in the last phone call, Vladimir Putin told Trump, hey, I actually want peace. It's just Ukraine's doing all these horrible things. And that's why there were no sanctions put on Russia, nor were there any weapons given to Ukraine. And Trump said then at that point that, well, Putin has signs, they're showing signs that they actually want peace. Well, not after the past 3 days, I'll tell you that. He says here, he is needlessly killing a lot of people. And I'm not just talking about soldiers. Missiles and drones are being shot into cities, into Ukraine, for no reason whatsoever. I've always said that he wants all of Ukraine, not just a piece of it. And maybe that's proving to be right. But if he does, it would lead to the downfall of Russia. I mean, look, I think Trump may be waking up to what we've been seeing for the past 3 years, in which diplomacy does not work, which is why we didn't try it to begin with Putin, because he lies. And with Donald Trump, and just to kind of give you a little context here, if you notice, a lot of people that get jobs through Donald Trump is because they were someone he had a relationship with and they showed some kind of loyalty to him. In the beginning, the first term as president, Donald Trump, and even before that, did have a good relationship with Vladimir Putin because Putin gave him opportunities to make money. And right now, he's not doing that. And I think he's getting angry with Putin because when this war is over, he's going to be flooding that market to make a lot of money. And he can't do that until the war is over. And I think that's really what drives the anger from Donald Trump. It's because Putin is delaying the actual end of this war, in which then he can make money later, while at the same time killing a lot of people. And Trump doesn't like death at all. So there's two no-nos from the Trump side. Now, he continues with his statement here, kind of bashing Zelensky for some reason, saying, likewise, President Zelensky is doing his country no favors by talking the way he does. Everything out of his mouth causes problems. I don't like it, and it better stop. This is a war that would have never started if I was president. This is Zelensky, Putin's, and Biden's war, not Trump's. And I'm only helping to put out the big and ugly fires that have been going and have been started through gross incompetence and hatred. So, a few things. It started technically, if you want to go through this, under Obama, okay? And Trump did say he gave javelins and all that, but it took 5 years for Putin to build up his military to be able to do this full-scale invasion. So under Trump, I'm sorry, yes, this happened under you, buddy. Whether or not you believe it or not, it's not like Putin woke up today and said, hey, let's move hundreds of thousands of men, get and start building all these weapons, all these drones, all these tanks, and just start today. It took him years. And as far as we know from the data we have, it was supposed to start in the spring of 2020, but then a global pandemic happened. So you can't use that excuse. Next, Zelensky opening his mouth, it doesn't really make any sense. Zelensky is just saying the truth, which is every time that these attacks happen and the U.S. stays silent, Putin is just taking this as okay, so they don't care, so we can just keep doing this deeper and deeper. Donald Trump put that statement out. That came at the same time in which drones and missiles were in the sky last night. We do know that At least 6 people did die, dozens have been injured, and Russia went after all civilian targets. We're talking about civilian or residential buildings, high-rise, they're talking about houses, a tire garage, another civilian enterprise, and then, of course, Ukraine, they did destroy a decent amount of the drones last night. There was about 9 cruise missiles all destroyed thanks to Patriot systems. And then we have the drones, in which the majority of them were taken down. About 55 of them were taken down for electronic warfare. And then a couple of them just did, unfortunately, hit certain targets, which, once again, were all civilians. But Trump said that, and you had people like Macron who came out and he said, well, it's one thing for Trump to say something. Hopefully he actually does something with that action, which is true. It's one thing to say, well, that's bad. Well, are you going to do anything about it? You're just going to say that is bad. Are you going to finally put more sanctions onto Russia? Are you going to allow Ukraine to buy more weapons? So far, the only thing Donald Trump has allowed Ukraine to do is buy parts for F-16s. And they've not greenlit anything for them to buy weapons from the U.S. Nothing. And it comes at a time in which the Russians are trying to get the frozen assets back. And it's like, no, you guys are the bad guys here. We don't reward the bad guys. But Vladimir Putin did not like what happened. At least he's not publicly saying it. Instead, the Kremlin is saying it. The Kremlin, Dmitry, who you know is the spokesperson for Kremlin, but really realistically, he's a spokesperson for Putin because Putin is the Kremlin. And in it, he said about Donald Trump that his comments were, quote, connected to an emotional overload of everyone involved. What? Are you trying to say that the President of the United States, who, let's be fair, has been very nice to Russia, he has not given any packages to Ukraine, no money, no weapons, he's not put any more sanctions onto Russia other than the stuff that Biden had already approved. He's not done a single thing. He's given Russia now 4 or 5 chances to do a ceasefire with Ukraine. You're telling me that now, out of nowhere, he's just being emotional? No, it's because it doesn't bode well for the Russian agenda. Because every time that Trump pushed back from doing sanctions or weapons, the Russian media will eat it up. See, look, even the U.S. president sees that there's no reason to go down this path. But now it doesn't work for their agenda, which is why you may have seen yesterday there was a random report that came out that Putin was going to be assassinated by Ukrainian drones, which, even according to the Russian military bloggers, there was no information on that. They made it seem like his helicopter was in the middle of the epicenter of this drone attack and that they had to, get through it all and have to get out. And no. When the president of Russia travels, he doesn't travel in just one little helicopter and they're dodging these drones, A. And B, the second that those drones even got in the sky, Putin was out there. He was gone, man. He wouldn't be hanging back there. It's all a big PR stunt because Russia need more men on the ground, okay? And the morale of the Russians are so darn low. Now imagine if your president was almost assassinated. Yeah, that's going to boost you up and go, maybe I should join. It was a PR move. And so we're going to see a lot of stuff happen because of just the past few days, including we're seeing now the German Chancellor Merz say, hey, the gloves are off, buddy. Ukraine, any weapons we give you, whether they be Tauruses, maybe, because I haven't got them yet, Storm Shadows and things like that, Scalps, you now have unlimited range. Send them to the very far ends to stop Russia from doing this, which has a lot of people saying, well, right now it's 4 p.m. Eastern time. It's nighttime in Ukraine. What is Ukraine going to hit? That being said, it has been a strange past 12 hours. Let's see what Ukraine's going to do with the new information. Let's see if Donald Trump is actually going to do something. Or is he just going to still just say words and then blame Zelensky and that's it? Because it does still kind of seem like that's the way he's going. But I want to know what you think in the comment section below. What do you think Ukraine should hit? Like, if they have Storm Shadows left over, which targets? I'm saying air bases. Go after the 295s and those kind of things. Destroy them completely. Because if we could stop the missiles, that will help a lot. Instead of having Patriot air defense systems stopping the stuff from coming, why don't we go right to the source and destroy that stuff now and forever? That's my mindset. Though you could also say, let's go after Russian oil and gas. because then they can't make money. There's a lot of things we could do here. I just want your thoughts in the comment section. And I do want to thank you for subscribing and turning on notifications. We're trying to grow this channel. We did just recently hit 27,000, so I appreciate it. And get ready, because we are going to do a Substack probably the first week of June, so stay tuned for that announcement as well. That way you can get emails with all the news and videos like this. So I want to thank you for joining me. Please stay safe, everyone. See you later. Bye.